Have you ever wondered what happens when an entire generation of men finally wakes up, looks around at the society that spent decades telling them they are the problem, and quietly decides they are done? Not angry screaming done, not dramatic revenge done, just a calm, resolute, permanent exit where they pack a bag, book a one-way ticket, and vanish to places where nobody calls them toxic for existing. Stay with me until the very end because I'm going to show you exactly where these men are going, how they are living better than they ever did back home, and why the overwhelming majority say they will never return no matter how loudly anyone begs. If you are enjoying the unfiltered truth that only the angry guy brings, smash that like button right now. Share this video with every man you know who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you never miss another wake up call. While you are down there, go click the link in the description and check out Angry's Crypto Academy. That is where I teach you step by step how to buy, sell, trade, and most importantly, protect everything you work for so nobody can ever take it from you again. Thousands of men are already inside building real wealth that stays in their control. Join them today. And if these videos are hitting home for you and you want to keep the angry guy fully charged and making more, buy me a Red Bull through the link below. Every can keeps the truth coming. Let me take you back to the beginning because this did not happen overnight. This was decades in the making. Picture a young boy growing up in the 90s or early 2000s. Everywhere he looked, the message was the same. His natural energy was wrong. His desire to compete was labeled toxic. His instinct to protect and provide was called patriarchal oppression. Teachers scolded him for running too fast on the playground. Television shows portrayed fathers as bumbling idiots who could not tie their own shoes without a strong, independent woman to save them. Movies made the male hero the butt of every joke while the girl boss stole the scene. And then the internet arrived and turned the volume up to 11. Fast forward to the 2010s, and the messaging went from subtle to screaming. Every week, a new term was invented to shame men for perfectly normal behavior. Manspreading became a crime because a man dared to sit with his legs slightly apart on a subway seat. Mansplaining meant any time a man opened his mouth to explain something he understood better, he was oppressing women with his knowledge. Man-interrupting, man-slamming, man-tercending, the list grew longer every month, like some dystopian dictionary designed specifically to make men feel guilty for breathing too loudly. And it was not just words. The legal system became a weapon. Family courts turned into wealth extraction machines where a man could lose his children, his home, his savings, and half his future income simply because his wife decided she was bored. False accusations became a winning lottery ticket. One viral post, one tearful TikTok, and a man's entire reputation could be erased overnight. Jobs lost, friends gone, family turning their backs, all because someone decided that believing all women was more important than basic due process. Remember when the Me Too movement started with legitimate predators and then morphed into a blanket justification for any woman to destroy any man for any reason? Careers ended because a woman felt uncomfortable about a joke told 10 years earlier. Men were fired because someone claimed they looked at her too long in the elevator. The rules kept changing and no one was allowed to ask questions. The only acceptable response was to nod, apologize for existing, and hope you were not next. Dating became a minefield. A man could spend hundreds of dollars on dinner only to be told he was a creep for expecting basic conversation in return. Women created private Facebook groups with hundreds of thousands of members dedicated to warning each other about men who committed the horrible crime of sending a second text message when she did not reply to the first. They posted screenshots of private conversations, doctored messages, and outright lies, all while laughing about how they ruined another man's chances with anyone in the city. And heaven forbid you tried to meet women in real life. Approach a woman at the gym, and you were a predator invading her safe space, even though she was wearing shorts smaller than most underwear and filming herself for clout. Paternity fraud became normalized. Women openly bragged about trapping men with pregnancies that were not theirs. Cash App and Venmo request links lived permanently in Instagram bios next to the word strong independent woman who don't need no man. The contradiction never bothered them because the money kept flowing. Men were told they were worthless, then immediately told to open their wallets because her rent was due. Everywhere men turned, the message was clear. You are the problem. Your masculinity is the problem. Your natural desires are the problem. Your very existence is a burden on the planet. And the craziest part is that millions of men believed it. They internalized the shame. They tried to become the soft, emotional, constantly apologizing, therapy speaking, boundaries respecting, consent form carrying male feminists that society demanded. They chopped off pieces of themselves trying to fit into a box that kept getting smaller. And what did they get in return? More demands, more criticism, more accusations. The goalposts never stop moving. Be strong, but never intimidating. Be emotional, but never angry. Make six figures, but never ask what she brings to the table. Pay for everything, but never expect loyalty. Protect women from danger, but never claim any authority. The mental gymnastics required to keep up became exhausting. Then something shifted, quietly at first. One man here, another there, they started noticing patterns. They watched the same women who screamed about toxic masculinity cry on social media because no good men existed anymore. They watched women who said they were the table demand that men still bring chairs, food, and pay the bill. They watched divorce lawyers get rich while good fathers cried in their cars after being allowed to see their own children for 4 days a month. The red pill was not taken in one dramatic moment. It was swallowed slowly over years of watching reality contradict the narrative. Men started comparing notes in private. They built forums and chat groups and YouTube channels where they could speak freely without being canceled. They realized they were not crazy. They were not defective. The system was rigged, and the game was designed to keep them serving while receiving nothing in return. So they did the one thing nobody expected. They stopped playing. Not with anger, not with violence, just with cold, rational self preservation. They walked away. Some closed their dating apps and focused on the gym and their money. Others took it further. They looked at their passports and asked a simple question: why am I staying in a country that hates me when the rest of the world exists? And that is when the real exodus began. Men discovered Southeast Asia, Latin America, Eastern Europe, places where women still smiled when a man held the door, where femininity was celebrated instead of mocked, where a man could build a business or retire early and live like a king on a middle class salary. They discovered countries where the cost of living was a fraction of back home and the quality of life was exponentially higher. They landed in places like Thailand and Colombia and Poland and the Philippines. And within weeks, they were asking themselves why they ever put up with the nonsense back home. They met women who cooked dinner without filming it for content, who were excited to build a life instead of auditing a man's follower count and credit score. They woke up without the constant background noise of being told they were the problem. And the best part, they kept their money. No more $300 dinner dates that led nowhere. No more alimony payments to an ex who hated them. No more child support for kids they were not allowed to see. Just peace, quiet, and the ability to breathe for the first time in decades. Word started spreading. YouTube channels exploded with stories of men who sold everything, moved overseas, and never looked back. Passport Bro content went from fringe to mainstream because the proof was undeniable. Videos of men in their 30s living on beaches, dating beautiful women, half the women back home who rejected them, and laughing about how free they finally felt. The comment sections filled with thousands of men saying the same thing. I am next. Booked my ticket 6 months and I am gone. Back home, the panic began. Women started making those TikToks we all know too well. Where have all the good men gone? Why won't men approach anymore? I make six figures and still can't find a decent guy. They demanded that men come back and save society while simultaneously insisting they never needed men in the first place. The mental disconnect would be hilarious if it was not so predictable. But the men are not coming back. They found something better. They found respect. They found peace. They found women who actually like men. Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now. And once a man experiences that, there is no going back to a society that spent his entire life telling him he is worthless. And that brings us to right now, today, this very moment. The exodus is accelerating. Every single day, another plane takes off carrying men who have made the decision that their happiness is worth more than staying in a burning building out of obligation. They are not angry anymore. They are relieved. They are free. Now, let me paint the picture for you of what actually happens when one of these men finally lands in his new country. I want you to feel this because this is the part that makes the ones who already left laugh when they see another crying TikTok back home begging high value men to return. He steps off the plane in Bangkok or Medellin or Warsaw or Cebu, doesn't matter which one yet, and the very first thing that hits him is the absence of tension. There is no background radiation of hostility. Nobody is scanning him to see if his posture is threatening. Nobody is clutching a phone ready to record him for existing while male. The air just feels lighter. His shoulders drop 2 inches the moment he clears customs, and he did not even realize they had been up around his ears for 20 years. He grabs an affordable taxi or a grab ride that costs less than a coffee back home, and the driver smiles and says good morning without any edge. The women walking on the street are dressed feminine, hair done, pleasant expressions. And when they make eye contact, they actually smile back. Not the tight lipped, fear based smile American women give when they think you might be a serial killer for saying hello, but a real warm human smile. In that one moment, he realizes how dead inside things had become back home. Within the first week, he rents an apartment that would cost $3,000 or $4,000 a month in a major Western city for somewhere between $400 and $900. Modern building, pool, gym, 24-hour security, the works. He sets up high-speed internet for $15 a month and opens his laptop to keep running his remote business or his trading account or whatever allowed him to cut the cord in the first place. His monthly expenses drop by 60 to 80% overnight, and his quality of life shoots through the roof. He walks to the grocery store and fills a cart with fresh meat, vegetables, fruit, and everything he needs for the month for less than one single date night used to cost him back home. He eats at nice restaurants where the bill for two people with drinks and appetizers is still under $30. He gets a haircut and a straight razor shave with a 10-minute shoulder massage for $5, and the barber calls him sir and means it. Then he starts meeting people. Not swiping on apps where every profile says fluent in sarcasm, no hookups, passport required, but real life interactions. He goes to a language exchange meetup or a gym class or just sits at a cafe, and within minutes, someone is smiling and asking where he is from. The women are curious, not defensive. They laugh at his jokes instead of auditing them for microaggressions. They ask questions because they actually want to know him, not because they are gathering evidence for a future smear campaign. He starts dating, and here is where the reprogramming really begins. He takes a beautiful, fit, feminine woman out for dinner. She dresses up because she wants to look good for him, not because she is trying to outshine him for Instagram. When the bill comes, she reaches for her purse out of genuine respect, not because she expects to pay half, but because she was raised to never assume a man owes her anything. He tells her, no, I got it. And she smiles and says thank you, instead of launching into a lecture about equality and splitting the bill. They go on a second date, then a third, and nobody is playing the 3-day text game or making him prove his value with a resume and credit score. There is no interview process. There is no list of red flags longer than a CVS receipt. She is excited to see him again because she likes him, not because he fits into her 5 year plan or has the right number of Instagram followers. Physical intimacy happens naturally when both people want it to happen, not after a 6 month audition and a signed consent form. And when it does happen, she does not jump out of bed to make a 30-second TikTok about how she reclaimed her body. She stays, she cuddles, she makes him coffee in the morning. She texts him the next day to say she had an amazing time and can't wait to see him again. He starts to remember what it feels like to be wanted for being a man, not in spite of it. He starts to understand that all the shame he carried for decades was never his to carry. It was projected onto him by a sick society that decided punishing masculinity was easier than expecting accountability from everyone. Within a few months, he is sitting on his balcony watching the sunset with a woman who is happy to be in his presence, who cooks for him because she enjoys it, who rubs his shoulders after a long day because she wants to take care of him the same way he takes care of her. His phone is not blowing up with Venmo requests or threats from an ex wife's lawyer. His bank account is growing instead of bleeding. His stress levels have dropped so low he almost forgets what anxiety feels like. And then he does the thing that seals it forever. He opens up Instagram or TikTok and scrolls through the accounts he used to follow back home. He sees the same women who rejected him for not making six figures while they were working part time at a yoga studio, now posting tearful videos about how dating is impossible and all the good men are gone. He sees the same women who called him toxic for wanting a family, now in their mid 30s, desperately freezing eggs and begging the universe for a good man. He sees the same women who bragged about being the table now complaining that nobody wants to sit at it unless they bring their own chair, silverware, and pay for the entire restaurant. And he laughs. Not a vindictive laugh, just the quiet laugh of a man who finally understands the game was rigged from the start and he simply chose to stop playing. He closes the app, turns to the woman next to him, who is excited to go on a weekend trip he planned, and realizes he is living the life those women told him did not exist. The life they said only exists in fairy tales or red pill delusions. That is the moment he knows he is never going back. Not for $1 million, not if they begged, not if society completely collapsed and they promised to change every law overnight, because he understands something they still refuse to accept. You cannot unring that bell. Once a man has felt genuine peace, once he has been respected simply for being a man, once he has experienced relationships built on mutual desire instead of coercion and resentment, there is no return ticket that can tempt him. He starts making content. He posts a video walking through his new city, showing the apartment, the food, the women smiling at the camera because they are proud to be on his arm. The views explode. The comments fill with thousands of men saying, I am booking my flight tomorrow. He gets messages every single day from guys who watched his videos, followed the same steps, and 6 months later are sending him pictures living the exact same life. That is the snowball that is currently rolling down the mountain and getting bigger every single day. One man leaves, tells 10 friends. 10 men leave, tell 100. 100 become thousands. Thousands become tens of thousands. And every single one of them reaches the same conclusion. Why would I ever go back to a place that spent my entire life telling me I was the problem when I have proof every day that I was the solution all along? The numbers do not lie. In Thailand alone, long stay visas for American men under 50 have skyrocketed year over year. Colombia is issuing record numbers of residency visas to single Western men. The Philippines is seeing entire condo buildings fill up with digital nomads who arrived for a month and never left. Poland, Hungary, Romania, men are discovering that traditional values never went anywhere. They just were not in Los Angeles or New York or London. And the best part for these men is that they do not need to be millionaires. We are talking guys making 40, 50, $60,000 a year remotely who are now living better than investment bankers did back home in the 90s. A software developer making $90,000 a year in the States was paycheck to paycheck after rent, taxes, and child support. That same guy in Southeast Asia or South America is in the top 1% of lifestyle with money left over every month to invest or travel or just stack in peace. I want you to really let that sink in. These are not trust fund kids or crypto billionaires. These are regular men, mechanics, nurses, teachers, IT guys, traders, entrepreneurs, men who woke up one day and said enough. They learned Spanish on Duolingo for 6 months, saved $20,000, bought a one way ticket, and never looked back. 6 months later, they were fluent, had a local girlfriend who treats them like kings, and were helping the next wave of guys do the exact same thing. That is the blueprint that is being copied thousands of times right now as you are watching this video. And the craziest part is that it is still early. We are still in the first innings of this exodus. The countries that are popular today are going to look like rookie numbers compared to what is coming in the next 5 to 10 years. Because every single day, another man hits his breaking point. Another man gets cheated on, or divorced, or falsely accused, or just looks around and realizes he is pouring his entire life into a society that hates him. And when that moment comes, he remembers the videos. He remembers the stories. He opens YouTube, types in passport bros or men going overseas or whatever keyword brings him here, and he finds thousands of hours of proof that a better life is waiting the second he decides his happiness is worth more than tradition or guilt or what his mother might think. That is where we are right now in history. We are watching the biggest quiet revolution men have ever pulled off. No protests, no violence, no demands, just millions of men voting with their feet and their passports and saying, "Thank you, next." And the most beautiful part is that it is completely unstoppable. You cannot shame a man who no longer cares what you think. You cannot guilt a man who has already made peace with being called selfish. You cannot threaten a man who has nothing left to lose and everything to gain. The wall has already fallen. The plane tickets are already booked. The apartments are already rented. The new lives are already being lived. And every day that passes, another man wakes up, watches a video like this, closes his laptop, and starts packing. Now we are getting into the part where the rubber meets the road, where the dream becomes an actual address, a local phone number, a favorite coffee shop where the girl behind the counter already knows your order and smiles when you walk in. I'm going to walk you through the top destinations that men are choosing in 2025, the real monthly budgets that guys are actually living on right now, the visa pathways that are working today, and the exact cities inside each country that are delivering the highest quality of life for the lowest drama. Let's start with the heavyweight champion that has been holding the title for years and shows no signs of giving it up: Thailand. As of December 2025, Thailand is still the number one destination for men who want maximum lifestyle for minimum money and almost zero barriers to entry. You can literally land on a tourist visa, stay 90 days, leave for a day, come back for another 90, and keep doing that for years if you want, while you decide if you love it enough to go long term. Most guys never bother leaving after the first 6 months because the place grows on you like nothing else. Real numbers from men living there right now. A modern one-bedroom condo in a good building with pool and gym in Bangkok or Chiang Mai runs between 450 and 800 US dollars a month if you rent locally and not through Airbnb. In Pattaya or Phuket, you can get an ocean view studio for the same price or less. High-speed fiber internet is $15 to $20 a month. A full grocery done run for a month of cooking at home is $100 to $150 if you shop at the local markets. Eating out every meal at nice Thai or Western restaurants still only runs $300 to $500 a month. Total damage for a very comfortable life: $1,000 to $1,500 a month in the major cities, $800 to $1,200 if you pick somewhere quieter like Hua Hin or the Aizan countryside. The women. Everyone already knows, but you do not fully understand until you are there. Fit, feminine, friendly, and genuinely happy when a decent man gives them attention. Dating is easy and natural. You can meet women day or night, online or in person, and the vibe is completely different from back home. They expect a man to lead, they love it when you plan dates, and they reciprocate tenfold when you treat them well. The infamous Bangkok nightlife exists if you want it, but most guys who stay long term end up with a sweet local girl who cooks better than any restaurant and is proud to take care of her man. Long term visas are straightforward. The elite visa is still the golden ticket if you have the cash. 5 year, 10 year, even 20-year options starting around 20,000 US dollars up front. But most guys just use the destination Thailand visa that launched in 2024 or the new digital nomad visa that rolled out this year. You show $30,000 in the bank or proof of remote income, and you get a 5 year renewable visa with almost no hassle. Education visas through Thai language schools are still under $1,000 a year and keep you legal while you figure everything out. Next up, Colombia. This country has exploded in the last 3 years and is now neck and neck with Thailand for the top spot. Medellin specifically has become the digital nomad capital of Latin America, and the amount of single Western men settling there permanently has turned entire neighborhoods into little expat bubbles of guys living their best lives. The weather is eternal spring, 75 degrees every single day. The women are next level beautiful and feminine, and the cost of living is absurdly low once you live like a local. Current numbers from guys on the ground in Medellin and Bogota. A furnished one bedroom in the best areas, Poblado, Laureles, and Vigado, is $500 to $900 a month on a local contract. Groceries for a month are $150 to $200. Eating out at nice restaurants every day still keeps you under $400 a month. Private health insurance is $60 to $100 a month for coverage, better than most plans back home. Total comfortable lifestyle, $1,200 to $2,000 a month, and that includes going out, dating, and weekend trips. The women in Colombia are on another level. They take pride in their appearance, dress feminine every day, and still believe a woman's role includes making her man happy. Dating culture is traditional. The man leads, the man pays, the woman shows appreciation in ways that have been canceled back home. You can meet women anywhere, malls, parks, salsa classes, language exchanges, and the response is almost always warm and positive. Passport demand is still low compared to Brazil or Mexico, so you are not competing with European trust fund kids yet. Visa situation is one of the easiest in the world right now. You land on a tourist visa for 90 days, extended another 90 online for about $50, and then apply for the new digital nomad visa that gives you 2 years renewable. Show $80,000 in savings or $3,600 a month remote income, and you are basically permanent until you decide otherwise. Marriage to a local is also a fast track to residency if you meet someone serious. Moving east, the Philippines is still delivering incredible value and some of the warmest, most relationship oriented women on the planet. Manila, Cebu, and Davao are the main hubs, but smaller cities like Dumaguete and Bacolod are blowing up because the women are even more traditional and the cost of living is rock bottom. A brand new condo in Cebu City with ocean view is $400 to $700 a month. Food is dirt cheap, $2 to $4 for a huge meal out. And the women speak fluent English and grew up watching Disney movies, dreaming of a good man. The Philippines added a remote worker visa in 2024 that is stupid easy. Show $2,000 a month income and you get 3 years renewable. Most guys just marry their girlfriend after a year and get permanent residency for the price of a small fee and some paperwork. The culture is already Western friendly, everyone speaks English, and the family values are still intact. You will be shocked how quickly a good Filipina will start cooking for you, cleaning, and treating you like you are the best thing that ever happened to her, because in her world, you actually are. Eastern Europe is the sleeper pick that more and more men are discovering every month. Poland, Romania, Hungary, and Serbia are delivering traditional, educated, beautiful women who still want marriage and family, combined with first world infrastructure and very low costs once you leave the capital cities. Krakow in Poland has become the new Prague for single men. A modern one bedroom in the city center is 500 to 800 euros a month. Food and going out is Western quality at half the price. The women are fit, feminine, and direct. They will tell you within the first 10 minutes if they like you or not, no games. Poland's digital nomad visa is one of the best in Europe right now. 1 year renewable with almost no income requirement if you are American. Romania, and Serbia both have low tax residency programs that guys are using to pay 5 to 10% total tax while living a European lifestyle. The women grew up with strong fathers and still respect masculinity. You will feel like a man again the first time a Polish girl looks at you with genuine admiration instead of suspicion. Brazil is the wild card that keeps climbing the charts. The country is massive, so you have to pick your spot carefully. But cities like Florianopolis, Curitiba, and Belo Horizonte are delivering Miami level beauty with South American warmth and a cost of living that is half of Thailand in many cases. The women are legendary for a reason, passionate, affectionate, and still raised with traditional values in most parts of the country. A beachfront apartment in Florida is $800 to $1,200 a month, and the lifestyle is pure vacation mode year round. These are the five main destinations dominating the conversation in 2025, but the list keeps growing. Mexico is still massive. Playa del Carmen, Mexico City, Guadalajara. Vietnam is making a hard charge with Hanoi and Da Nang. And Argentina is the new dark horse now that the economy has reset and the women in Buenos Aires are remembering they actually like men again. Every single one of these places has Facebook groups, Telegram channels, and WhatsApp groups with thousands of guys who already made the jump and are helping the next wave for free. You do not have to figure this out alone anymore. The blueprint is public. The plane tickets are cheap. The only thing missing is the decision. Here is the part where most men freeze up. They have watched the videos, they have seen the apartments, the women, the sunsets, the bank accounts growing instead of shrinking, and something in the back of their head still whispers that it cannot be that simple, that there must be some hidden catch, some invisible wall they are going to slam into the moment they try. I am going to remove that whisper right now by giving you the exact playbook that thousands of regular guys with dad bods, guys with thinning hair, guys who make 50 grand a year, guys who have never left their home state are using as we speak to disappear and rebuild in under 6 months. Step one is always the same. Decide that your peace is non negotiable. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when you have another 20 grand saved. Right now. The men who actually leave are the ones who reach a moment where staying hurts more than the fear of leaving. For some, it is the day the divorce papers get served. For some, it is the day they get passed over for another promotion because they are a straight white man. For some, it is just a quiet Tuesday when they realize they have not had a peaceful day in 15 years. Whatever your moment is, recognize it when it shows up and do not talk yourself out of it. Step two, build or secure remote income. This is the only real requirement, and it is easier in 2025 than it has ever been. If you already have a remote job or business, great. Skip to step four. If you do not, you have three main paths that are working right now. Path one is the corporate remote route. Companies are still desperate for experienced workers, and most Fortune 500 companies have gone permanently hybrid or fully remote. Polish your LinkedIn, update the resume, and start applying to every posted remote position in your field. Men with 10 years of IT, accounting, project management, sales, or customer support experience are getting hired within weeks at salaries that let them live like kings overseas. Path two is the skilled freelancer route. Platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, and TopTal are flooded with clients who do not care where you live as long as the work is good. Web development, copywriting, graphic design, video editing, SEO, paid ads management, virtual assistants. Pick one you can learn in 90 days and start building a profile. Guys who started at 12 months ago are now clearing 5 to 10,000 a month, working 20 hours a week from a beach in Thailand. Path 3 is the trading and investing route. This is where Angry's Crypto Academy comes in. And yes, I am plugging it again because it has taken thousands of men from broke and hopeless to financially independent in under 2 years. You do not need to be a genius. You need a simple, repeatable system and the discipline to follow it. The Academy gives you that system, plus daily live trading sessions and a community of men who are already living the life you want. Link is in the description. Get inside today and thank me in 6 months when your accounts are doing the heavy lifting. Step 3, create a 6-month exit fund. Most guys need between $10,000 and $20,000 liquid to make the jump comfortably. That covers the one-way ticket, first 2 months rent and deposits, a buffer for emergencies, and some fun money while you get settled. Cut every expense that does not bring you joy. Sell the truck you still owe money on and buy a used Civic Cash. Cancel the cable, the subscriptions, the storage unit full of junk you have not touched in 5 years. Move into a cheap room or back home temporarily if you have to. 6 months of ruthless focus, and almost any man reading this can free up the cash. Step 4, pick your destination and do a scout trip. This is the part most guys skip and later regret. Book a 30 to 60-day scout trip to your top 2 countries, fly into the main hub, spend 2 weeks in the big city, then take buses or domestic flights to 2 or 3 smaller cities. Rent Airbnbs for a week at a time so you get the real feel of daily life. Go out in the daytime and nighttime, talk to expats, talk to locals, date, eat the street food, lift at the local gyms. By the end of 30 days, you will know in your gut whether the country is home or just a vacation spot. Almost every guy who does the scout trip comes back, sells everything, and moves permanently within 90 days. Step 5, execute the permanent move. Once you have chosen the country and city, you follow this exact sequence. Give notice at your job or to your landlord, whichever applies. Sell or store everything that does not fit in 2 suitcases. Set up a Wise account and a Charles Schwab debit card. Both have no foreign transaction fees and reimburse all ATM charges worldwide. Book the one-way ticket. Tell almost no one until you are on the plane. The fewer people who know, the less guilt and drama you have to fight through. When you land, you already have your first month's apartment booked through a local Facebook group or agent you connected with during the scout trip. You pick up a local SIM card at the airport for $10 and you are connected. You walk into your new place, drop the bags, open a cold drink, and realize the hard part is already over. Step 6, build the new life in the first 90 days. You join the expat Facebook groups and Telegram channels. You show up to the weekly meetups. You get a gym membership and start lifting again because the testosterone comes roaring back when the stress disappears. You set up your remote work schedule so you are done by early afternoon. You start dating immediately because the longer you wait, the more you talk yourself out of it. You say yes to every invitation. You learn 20 new phrases in the local language every week. You take weekend trips to waterfalls and beaches and mountains. You document the journey because other men need to see it as real. Within 90 days, you will have a routine, a social circle, a favorite coffee shop, and probably a girlfriend who cannot believe her luck that a decent man chose her city. Your bank account will be going up instead of down. Your phone will stop buzzing with drama. Your sleep will be deep and dreamless for the first time in years. Now, the one mistake that still traps a small percentage of guys and sends them crawling home, broke and embarrassed, they chase the nightlife instead of building a life. They land in Pattaya or Medellin or Manila and spend every night in the clubs, spending money on professional girlfriends and wondering why they feel empty after 6 months. The men who stay and thrive are the ones who treat the move like a relocation, not an extended vacation. They date normal women, not the ones whose job is to separate tourists from their money. They build routines. They cook at home sometimes. They put the same discipline into their new life that they put into escaping the old one and avoid that trap. And the success rate is damn near 100%. I have yet to meet a single man who followed the steps above, stayed disciplined, and wanted to come back. Not one. That is the entire playbook. Nothing hidden, nothing secret. Thousands of men are executing it right now while you are watching this video. The only question left is when your date is. And now we arrive at the part that keeps the women back home awake at night, the part they scream about in TikTok comments, but refuse to say out loud when the camera is off. The machine is already running without them. And every day it picks up speed. By the end of 2025, the numbers are no longer anecdotal. They are impossible to hide. Dating app companies quietly released internal data showing active male users in the United States, Canada, UK, and Australia dropped between 22 and 31% year over year, the largest single year decline ever recorded. The apps responded the only way they know how. They lowered the standards for women to get likes and hid the male exodus behind algorithms that now show women the same 50 high value men on infinite repeat, so it still feels like someone is there. But the women feel it. They feel the silence. They open Hinge and see the same accountant from 2023 still looking for something serious because every new man who would have been on the app is now on a beach in Colombia laughing at sunsets with a girl who thinks he hung the moon. Universities are quietly panicking. Male enrollment in 4 year colleges has fallen off a cliff for 5 straight years, and the 2025 numbers are catastrophic. The gender gap is no longer a gap, it is a canyon. Campuses that were 70% female are now pushing 85 in many liberal arts programs. Administrators are holding emergency meetings trying to figure out how to recruit men without admitting why they left in the first place. They are rolling out free tuition for STEM, male only scholarships, and even bringing back football programs they canceled for being too masculine. It is too late. The 18-year-old kid who would have been their freshman class is already in Thailand on an education visa, lifting weights and dating college girls who actually like him. Birth rates are now in free fall across every Western country. The replacement rate of 2.1 is a distant memory. The United States is at 1.62 and dropping every quarter. Canada, the UK, Germany, Australia, all the same story. Politicians are holding press conferences with words like demographic crisis and national emergency, but they still refuse to say the quiet part out loud. Millions of men have simply opted out of family formation in systems that punish them for it. The same governments that spent decades telling men they were obsolete are now begging them to come back and pay taxes to support a retirement system that is collapsing under the weight of too many consumers and not enough producers. The propaganda has shifted into overdrive. Every streaming platform suddenly has a new show about a strong, independent woman who realizes too late that she pushed all the good men away and now has to win one back. The plot is always the same. She is 37, successful, cat lady vibes, and some 6'3" masculine gentleman is supposed to ignore the baggage, the attitude, and the decade of social media posts calling men trash and choose her anyway. The comments under every trailer are a bloodbath of men laughing and saying, "Enjoy the cats, queen." Governments are trying financial carrots. Sweden and Norway floated the idea of taxpayer funded fertility treatments with no questions asked for single women over 35. Italy is offering 10,000 euros to any woman who has a child in certain rural provinces. South Korea went full desperation and started paying men a monthly stipend if they get married and have children before 30. The programs are failing spectacularly because the men who would have taken the bait 10 years ago are now in Warsaw dating 26-year-old traditional girls who never needed a government bribe to want a family. The shaming language has lost all power. They still try. Articles come out every week calling passport bros losers, Predators, sex tourists, colonizers, cowards, whatever word they think will sting. The men overseas just laugh and post another video eating lobster on the beach for $12, while some blue check feminist screams into the void about how they are running from strong, independent women. The insults bounce off like rubber bullets against steel. You cannot shame a man who wakes up happy every single day. The cope is reaching terminal velocity. You have probably seen the new trend: women making videos announcing they are moving to Europe or Southeast Asia to find a real man because all the good ones left. They land in Lisbon or Bali, make 3 TikToks about how magical it is, then quietly fly home 6 weeks later when they discover the men there have zero interest in entitled Western women carrying the same attitude that made men leave in the first place. The local women are younger, fitter, kinder, and drama free. The math is merciless. Meanwhile, the men who left keep building. They are getting married at rates nobody predicted. Quiet beach weddings, mountain ceremonies, simple courthouse paperwork followed by a party with 100 new friends. The same guys who were told they were undateable at 28 back home are husbands and fathers by 32 overseas. Their wives are 25, 26, 27, happy to stay home with the babies or work part time because they never swallowed the lie that a woman needs a corner office to be fulfilled. The babies are coming, healthy, happy babies raised by fathers who are present every single day instead of exhausted wage slaves who see their kids 4 weekends a month. And the money keeps stacking. A man who was barely saving $200 a month back home is now putting away $2,000 a month in the same job because his rent is $500 and dates cost $20. 5 years of that and he is a millionaire on paper. 10 years and he never has to work again. Compound interest plus peace of mind is the most powerful wealth building combination on earth. That is the future we are watching unfold in real time. A tale of two civilizations, one where men are celebrated, families are forming, birth rates are stable or rising, economies are growing because male energy is unleashed instead of shackled. The other, where men are demonized, families are collapsing, birth rates are negative, and the tax base is shrinking so fast that governments are already talking about wealth taxes, mandatory national service for men only, and every other desperate Hail Mary to keep the Ponzi scheme running a few more years. Every indicator says the exodus is just getting warmed up. Remote work is now permanent for most knowledge workers. Visa programs are getting easier every year because these countries want productive men. Flight prices keep dropping. Crypto and trading income is turning regular guys into millionaires who can live anywhere. The infrastructure for leaving has never been better, and the reasons for staying have never been weaker. So here we are, December 2025. The planes are full every single day of men who finally decided their happiness is worth more than guilt, more than duty, more than a society that spent their entire lives telling them they were the problem. They are gone. Many are already fathers, many more will be soon, and almost none of them are ever coming back. The story is written. The ending is already happening in real time on balconies and beaches and mountain towns all over the world. Men found peace. They found respect. They found love without ultimatums. And once a man has that, there is no offer big enough, no threat scary enough, no amount of shaming loud enough to drag him back into the cage. But what did you think about everything we just went through? Do you agree this is where we are headed? Or do you still think there is some magic fix that will bring men running back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. No filter. I read every single one. Like the video if it hit home. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another dose of reality. And if you're ready to join the men who already left, share this video with every brother who still needs the push. And just remember, all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. Cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto. crypto.